Envision, Envision, DC's #1 recording studio. Listen, vision, DC's #1 recording studio.
Ooh, we're a little fuzzy. How y'all doing? Welcome. It is February, 5th?
Yep, Black History Month.
Black History Month, y'all. It's kicking off. I'm Jamil Fletcher, publisher of Swerv Magazine. To my left, we have Tony Nelson.
Hey.
In a blue suit, but it looks purple.
It looks purple on there.
It looks purple.
I like that purple, though.
And Kevin Taylor is on. He's on Skype. We're going to bring him in a minute. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, can you hear me already? I'm gonna be quiet.
The one and only. He's our guest for this evening. And then to my far left, we have Racine Pendarvis.
Salutations.
All right. You want to move in, Racine, so we can see your mic and everything. Come on, move closer to Tony. Y'all can move down. There's plenty of room between me and your day. Mm-hmm. And this in red is your day noir.
Hey, everybody, how are you?
All right, let's get started, y'all. Hey. So, as I said, we've got the one and only Kevin Taylor coming on later. She's our first Skype guest ever. So we're hoping this is going to work out perfectly.
I told Maxine she's going to be Skype. She said, I'm ready.
All right. Maxine is going to be next. All right, y'all. So, of course, our January-February issue is hitting the stands everywhere, featuring Dames. He's a new voice on the rise in hip-hop and beyond.
He look like Lil Fizz.
Lil who?
Lil Fizz.
Who's Lil Fizz?
From Immature.
Everybody's Lil something. Not
B2K.
Oh, right, B2K.
That's right.
Thank you, Kevin.
That's a music historian right there. And of course, we've got the HBCU queer organizing piece by Trinice McNally at what? UDC.
UDC.
All right.
Yes.
So look out for that
can't
issue.
wait to read that.
DC's other HBCU.
Oh yeah, it's a great piece. Of course, we have. Can you hear? Racine, is your mic on?
No, it's out.
Racine's mic.
Okay.
Is it on? Okay. All right. We'll keep talking.
The crowd can hear you.
But I can.
I hear you. There you go. All right, and we have advertising opportunities both within the magazine and on the show. All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's go right into news, y'all. Did y'all see the State of the Union address?
We did.
I didn't see all of it, but I saw this part. Did you see this part?
I did. And I have an opinion about that.
Tell me, what's your opinion?
I get it. It was all for the drama, and he didn't shake her hand, all that stuff.
He didn't shake her hand.
I personally just felt like I just wish she hadn't have done that. I know everybody thinks she was great and all that stuff. I'm just like, girl, it wasn't all that.
Well, anybody else want to jump in?
I'm over all of this.
Yeah.
Don't be over it.
No.
It just comes a point when people just, I feel like Nancy Pelosi is so above him.
But you know what?
She didn't need to do that.
I didn't think
and what he did was who he is. And as you always should take the high road no matter what.
I mean, okay.
Should we take the high road?
Granted, I will say this. When Barack Obama was in office, out of every single State of the Union address, whoever the Republican was that was sitting in that spot sat down the entire time. So, granted, it was a little dramatic. However, we are dealing with a dramatic president who has done stuff that is completely unprecedented. Let's not even talk about this whole impeachment trial, which was nothing but a shit show. That's what it was.
It's what you call a cover-up.
Everybody want to talk about standards. This shit went out the window when we had this production of an impeachment trial.
I just think she.
Next.
I personally think she looked childish.
Oh, well, to me,
childish his whole damn reign.
But I'm not speaking of him. I'm speaking of her.
Right.
Her. I think she's an intelligent woman.
She is.
I mean, I get the point, and I'm not knocking anybody's opinion. I think she's an intelligent woman. I've met her. She's an amazing woman.
She's the most powerful woman in the world.
She's the
pretty
most powerful
much.
woman, and I felt like that was a moment. I got it, but I felt like it's a moment.
But what about the speech? Did you hear the speech?
I thought his speech was, I do agree with it.
He lied profusely.
Well, he did.
Profusely.
I couldn't
so much
bear
so
it.
so
And
much
they
so that
treated
you know
him like
that
he
you know
was
they
some
walked
king.
out. But
I
you know the
couldn't bear
Democrats
it.
worked out. You know that,
They
right?
treated him like
Well,
he
they
was
should
some
have.
king.
About half of them got up
Hi, JJ.
midway through,
Everybody on
halfway
Facebook
through,
like
and
it.
walked out
And here's the point.
because he was lying so much.
But the independents loved it. That's the scary thing. Here's what we should be concentrating on. The reason why I think these little puppet shows are no good. The independents loved the speech. The turnout in Iowa was not what it was supposed to be. You guys have
Well, Iowa's got. Iowa's had problems for years.
But
they
Iowa
just got exposed. So here's the Iowa caucuses.
But Iowa has problems for years. But when Barack Obama won Iowa, which really propelled his campaign, 3,000. Like a record number of people showed. This time, a record number of Democrats. It was record low, which is really kind of scary if you stop and think about it.
They've been there for a whole year and a half campaigning and planning and everything.
They had a record low turnout for this election.
That's interesting.
So it's interesting to me, and so I just think they have some other work to do other than show and tell.
Well, first of all, Iowa. This is the first time that they actually started to record the numbers instead of just recording who won. Mm-hmm. Because this was a request because of the last time there were some errors that they suspected. So they said also record the number of people and not just who won in each little district. And they think that's really at the root of the problem.
Could be. I mean, but if it's
It was a travesty.
But if the numbers are as low as they're reporting of turnout in Iowa, that's not good. That's not
No,
a good
it's
sign.
not. But Iowa's like what? 2% black. I mean, it's not.
Well, not just black. They said Democrats across the board.
Oh, right. But I'm just saying, like black. It's not reflective of the country. So,
That's
and the
true.
whole concept of a caucus is sort of dated. But why is Iowa first? They spent all that time and money there. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But
we're giving them too much time.
well, not at all. I mean, this is
It was
so
a
important.
hot mess.
But my issue, my message, what I pulled from her gesture with the tearing it up is that it's now really on. A line has the breach has really just come to a head, and we got to get rid of him.
I
think that's what is coming.
That's what I'm
clear to the country.
I'm hopeful that's what it is, and I'm hopeful that she has and I really, really, really respect her a lot. And I'm not saying that I think she was terrible about it. It's just something I just felt like the opposite of it were not great.
Right. I hear you. Okay, let's keep it moving. So Akil Patterson, our dear brother, is running for Baltimore City Council in District 13, y'all. So Akil is an athlete. He co-edited the piece we did on sports. He's
sports
active with Ally Sports, which is a LGBT sports organization. But he's also a politician. He's also a political activist. He's been active in a number of things. He used to wrestle for University of Maryland.
Oh, cool.
And I think he might have been an All-American. So we'll do more with Akil. We had to bring him on the show. So he's running for City Council in Baltimore.
Yeah,
all right.
Hey.
Come on, go for it.
We wish you all the luck.
Best of luck.
But
Anything
everyone get out and vote.
Oh, I know
Get
that's
out and
right.
vote.
I
Take
gotta-
people to the vote.
Hey,
to the
JJ.
voting
Hey, Chris
office.
Randolph.
We got to show that voting video again.
And
Anyway,
everybody,
anything about the impeachment trials y'all want to talk about?
Well,
I already said
It's still going on. They're
a
probably
shit
going to
show.
acquit him tomorrow if they haven't yet.
They already did.
They
They
already-
acquitted him already?
They did it today. It was.
Oh, my God.
It happened around 6:00 p.m. I sat and watched the
They
foolery.
did it today?
I want to
Yeah.
give a shout out to Mitt Romney. I take my hat to you. God bless you.
Did he-
he
why?
was
What
the
did he
only
vote?
Republican who stood up and was like he was guilty. And on top of that, they have all thrown him shade since then. He gave a speech afterward, and his speech was so sickening because he pretty much gave, at the end of the day, history is going to show itself. And I want it to be said. He was like, that religion is a major part of my life. And he said, I voted this way because my conscience told me to, and I will now be able to sleep. Basically,
Well, he
that's
also
what he said.
Hey, Chris.
and he also voted this way that way because he has no challenges in Utah. He has no challenges in Utah, so it's easy for him to swing that way. Mitt Romney has been a swinging gate. I'm glad he did vote.
Well, he goes round and round.
He goes round and round, and he has been for years, but he has no challenges in Utah.
Don't matter.
It has no challenges.
Don't matter. He
It
did.
it does matter. Let me tell you why
Well,
it
let's
matters.
keep moving, though.
Because
Come
if he had a challenger in Utah, or if his seat was in jeopardy,
In
like the rest of those Republican seats are in jeopardy in his state, he would have voted the other way. It's just as simple as that.
Probably.
Yeah,
But he
he would
did
vote
it.
the other way.
All right, y'all.
The record will show that he voted.
Can we keep moving?
We
All right.
can.
Can we keep moving? All right,
Absolutely.
Let's go to what's hot, y'all. So the Super Bowl halftime. Did y'all see it?
Nope.
Yes.
The Latina takeover.
Yes.
You didn't see it?
I don't support the
I
NFL.
was there for them.
But did you see that?
Nope. I'll go back and watch it on YouTube.
I
but
thought
I didn't watch.
I thought they
I don't
turned
watch
it.
the NFL.
What did you think? I thought they turned
Oh,
it.
they.
I thought they turned it.
I
I
got
heard.
my life. Shakira at 43.
Those girls
Jennifer
turned it.
Lopez at 50
They said they
proved
It was a
that
show. It
life
was a
gets
production.
better over on the
I
other
heard it was
side of
cute.
40. It was. Oh.
The Latinas took over, baby.
They danced. They turned it. They got life. They gave you a production.
I got
And
in
the
for
kids
it.
want to read if they sung live and that, but at the end of the
Oh
day,
no,
It
they,
don't matter.
whatever, you know,
Who
lip,
cares?
most
Who
people
sings
lip
live?
sync
it
at
was
those
a
things.
production.
Singing live is overrated.
They lip sync at that stuff because
Well,
because
Will it be your most memorable? I think for some people it will be.
One of 'em.
enjoyed
They
it.
said it will go down as one of the
It
most
was one of the
memorable.
great ones,
I heard.
yes.
I heard rave reviews about it.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I'm just gonna say when she came out, did my song. I'm still Jenny from the block. I was good right there. I ain't have to see no more. I live for that song.
But
you know what I
Shakira's
love?
the one that turned
I
it for
thought
me.
Shakira killed
Shakira
it.
turned it.
Yeah, I thought she killed
She
it.
killed it.
And
But
just,
you know what? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Did you notice the symbolism of the children in the cages? when
yeah,
they
there was a
sung?
lot of.
Oh yeah, we picked that up. Yeah.
There was a-
I was like, wow.
Yeah,
it just
we
blew me
got
away.
it.
It blew me away.
And just FYI, a lot of people was wondering why Shakira did that. That's her. That's a
Yeah,
Lebanese
it's part of her
chant.
song,
Yeah,
right?
No, but no,
yeah.
that was that. She's Lebanese.
Oh, okay.
And that's that she was doing. But
That's
people
her
was like,
chant
why did
for
she do
people.
that? That's a
She's
Lebanese
always
chant.
done that, though.
But
Yeah,
she
but people,
always
it
did.
was like a lot of. What is that's weird? What is
She's
she
a great
doing?
artist. Look,
So
Shakira's a
Robert
great
York
artist.
said it was a production full of messages.
Hey,
Against
Robert.
number 45. Hey, Robert.
Yes,
And
it
hey,
was.
Albert. Albert
Yes,
from
it
Norfolk Black
was.
America tuned in.
All
Thank
right,
you.
all right. Let's keep it moving, y'all. So we got another thing that's hot. You know, we talk about Billy all the
Everyone
time.
like and share.
Billy
on Facebook.
Porter.
Like and share.
Billy Porter is going to Sesame Street in his tuxedo
And they can't take.
gown
And I'm so
from the
livid.
Oscars. And it's coming. The episode will come up. They'll show it shortly.
Y'all know I live for Billy
Billy's
Porter.
everywhere in these days. I ain't mad at him.
I'm living.
You-
And he
you
did,
live for Billy
he
Porter.
did the LGBTQ and ABC
State of Address.
State of Address.
He did it
was-
again.
Oh, I didn't
He
see
did
that.
He did it before.
Yeah, he did it this
again
year. This year too.
What was that on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It's
All
on
right.
YouTube. It's on Facebook. It was very,
Yeah.
it was very
From
well done.
Capers to Pre,
Hold on
from
one second.
Capers is
PJ, do you have it up?
We love
You got it? Okay, great.
What did you
I
have?
just wanted to insert this really, really quickly. I thought this was so amazing.
Okay, what is it?
Joaquin Phillips was at BAFTA
Oh, I saw that.
and received his speech, and I thought his speech, and especially with this being Black History Month, I thought this was quite poignant. So can we play?
Can
the
we
video?
show
It's
that?
only
Are we
a
allowed to
it's a
show that?
2-minute.
And the BAFTA goes to Joaquin Phoenix for Joker.
I feel very honored and privileged to be here tonight. BAFTAs have always been very supportive of my career, and I'm deeply appreciative. But I have to say that I also feel conflicted because so many of my fellow actors that are deserving don't have that same privilege. I think that we send a very clear message to people of color that you're not welcome here. I think that's the message that we're sending to people that have contributed so much to our medium and our industry and in ways that we benefit from. I don't think anybody wants a handout or preferential treatment, although that's what we give ourselves every year. I think that people just want to be acknowledged and appreciated and respected for their work. This is not a self-righteous condemnation, because I'm ashamed to say that I'm part of the problem. I have not done everything in my power to ensure that the sets I work on are inclusive, but I think that it's more than just having sets that are multicultural. I think that we have to really do the hard work to truly understand systemic racism. I think that it is the obligation of the people that have created and perpetuate and benefit from a system of oppression to be the ones that dismantle it. So that's on us. Thank you.
Well, what are your thoughts? You brought this to the fore.
I thought this was absolutely amazing. I think the line that stood out the most was he said it's the people who basically create these spaces. The people who benefit from them are the people who are responsible for dismantling.
I mean, to give up their power.
I mean, it's the truth. And
so is that what we're expecting them to do, to give up their power?
So for those of you who don't really understand what happened prior to this, so BAFTA is like the British version of like the Academy Awards, and there were like no nominees of color at all.
Like the Academy Awards are this year?
Like the Academy Awards. So this was huge because this was a major category. This is lead actor. He won, and he used his platform to dismantle. And I thought, and he said himself that I included. And I thought that this is a prime example of how you use white privilege and you use it in a positive way. And so I wanted to take this moment to tip my
let's
hat
see
to
what
him
happens.
because I thought it was great.
That's very reflective of his background, his raising. His parents raised him in a almost like a commune.
Was it combine?
A commune, and they were very they had like
communal.
a communal, free thinking. So his brother and his sister, who is an amazing vocalist. They all three shared the same time.
But I thought it was great. I applaud people who actually take their platform and use it for good.
Not to mention he's an extremely
he's a great
talented
actor. What is his brother? What was it? It was River Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah, that's right. He died.
Who was also an amazing drug
issue?
overdose on Hollywood
Oh,
Boulevard.
that's right. I remember that. That was 20 years ago, wasn't it?
At Johnny Depp's club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He was a very talented young man.
All right. Interesting. So, we'll follow and let's see what the ramifications are of that. What's the residuals from that? Okay. Let's keep it moving. So we got a couple events from Racine. We got two things coming up. You got your march. Oh, yes. Right. That's in February 20th, right?
Yes, I am living Black history. Team Racine is partnering up with the Public Library to put on a very special LGBT inclusive.
And that's in Washington, D.C., y'all.
At Cleveland Park. It's an inclusive event. It's free, and everyone is welcome. Please go to Team Racine to teamracine.eventbrite.com to find out more about it. It's an amazing event. It'll be something that I'm really, really proud of this year. It's a wonderful event.
We got another event coming up, March. That's your March show.
March show.
Okay.
I come back. It's our season 9, and I come back with an all-star lineup. It's amazing with our new announcer, Kilios, our special DJ, Mem. Kent Black will be doing a cooking segment. Poet. Oh.
You got a lot of guests on that
laureate poet Ray Monet will be joining us. And please follow us at Team Racine, Ask Racine.
That's the Ask Racine show.
That's the Ask Racine show. We come back. It's going to be an amazing event. It's free. And I just say I am honored and I'm living the wonderful experience. I'd like to also give a wonderful shout out to the Office on Aging, who just interviewed me on Tuesday actually, as a part of their documentary series, Living Black History.
And this is D.C., correct? This is D.C.?
D.C.
Right.
Office of Aging.
Go ahead, Racine.
Congratulations, Racine.
And so we want to show a clip of that when that comes up. All right. So real quick, y'all, you know what? I think I'm going to skip this musical spotlight. We skipped it a couple times, and we've got time. We'll show him later because we got somebody special coming on. Can we bring on Reverend Taylor?
My brother.
Can we bring on Mr. Kevin Taylor, please? Does that work?
Is it working?
And y'all, and I'll tell you, I don't know if we have a picture. If you want to show his picture while you try to bring him on.
He's there.
Oh, okay.
Are you
I
there?
see myself.
There he
Hey,
is.
Kevin.
There's Kevin on both
Hey,
screens.
hey, hey.
So let's bring him on. Let's bring him on.
Hey,
Can we make him
Kevin.
bigger? Can we?
Hey, Yarday. Hey,
We
Tony.
love you.
Hey,
Hey,
Kevin.
Bill.
Can we make him
The
bigger?
legendary racing Vendavas.
Thank you, my beloved.
I give honor where honor is due, Queen.
Thank you, my darling.
Well, while we try to bring this screen bigger, Kevin, before we get into who you are, I want to show your sizzle reel so that people can get a feel for
The amazing.
who you are.
Kevin
okay?
Taylor.
Can we do that? All right. All right.
Hey,
Yes.
So that gives you a feel for one element of this amazing brother. Kevin is a writer, producer,
Author.
spiritual leader,
Author.
activist, you name it. So, and he's also a Swerve columnist too. Also, that's right.
Yes.
And he resides in New Jersey, Newark,
he's
New
straight out of
Jersey,
it
DC.
hails from
Washington D.C.
Straight out of D.C.
That's right. So,
Thank
so
you.
Kevin, welcome to the Swerve Show.
Well, I'm glad to be here. What an honor. What an honor. What an honor. I'm here. I'm normally here every Wednesday night watching. So to be there is kind of gangster.
Yes.
Yes, he's our first. He's our
You made
first
his
guy.
Skype-
Yes.
Your first house
So,
Skype-
so tell us about your journey a little bit. We only got a couple minutes, but tell us about your journey from being this little boy in Washington D.C. to being this educated producer, writer, activist. How did you get from point A to B?
Listen. So
What's been your
I grew up-
inspiration?
I'm one. You know, we always talk about the platinum gay who's never been with a woman. I'm a platinum Washingtonian because I've lived in Southwest, Southeast, Northwest, and Northeast. I grew up in the projects in Southwest DC. Went to Amadon and Syfax and Anthony Bowen and Jefferson Junior High, and just dreamed. I can't even explain it. And because tomorrow's her birthday, I really must give honor where honor is due. It was hearing Natalie Cole say
Yeah.
that she started singing her junior year of college, that I realized that black people could go to college. And then I realized there was something to do with being smart. Before her, I had no idea what to do with it. I didn't know if that was the difference between the post office job or the politician versus, a maid or a teacher. I had no idea. Natalie gave me a trajectory that sent me from DC to making sense of studying and then having a purpose. And then, it was hard being in DC with Howard right on Georgia Avenue. And everybody's like, you got to go to Howard. And I was like, I'm not taking the bus to college.
I mean, the Mecca is the Mecca, but
Right,
I understand. But so
and so it just, being that kid took my brain to college, and college came back to DC and worked for the DC government. And then my world flipped upside down one day when I realized at 26 that I wasn't going to get another government step until probably in my 30s. And I quit my good government job, took 2 weeks off, and then a temp agency took me to BET. Boom.
Gotcha.
Boom.
So tell us about that wonderful experience, because I recognize you from BET. This is before I actually knew you. But tell us about that great journey you took from being someone's assistant to doing production work and interviewing Tina Turner, the likes of Anita Baker, you name it.
So I came into BET as the executive assistant of Lydia Cole, who was the director of music programming. And literally, my little gay self in there working for her as her assistant, typing 104 words a minute, having days where she would come in and be like, I want to know where my report is. I was like, it's on your desk. And it would be 10:30, and she thought it would take all day. And then a year later, she said, I feel like I'm going to lose you because you spend, so much, when you type that fast and somebody's just giving you administrative work. I think she was concerned because I was sitting idly. And so she said, I feel like I'm going to lose you. What's it going to take to keep you? And because I had done all the filing, I found the job description for the record label liaison and music researcher.
Wow.
I took it to her and said, how about this job? And she said, we haven't filled that job ever in BET's history because we were worried about the payola side of it. You sent the playlist out, you got the videos in, and were responsible for the stuff that made it into the room to get on the air. Mm-hmm. What she forgot was, as her assistant, I was doing it anyway. So she went to Jeff Lee, and he gave, they came back and gave me a 50% raise. The next year, she went out on maternity leave. And you talk about being in the right place and always showing up in your own greatness. Oh. The woman who replaced her covering the music department had been told, you can't trust Kevin because he was too close to Lydia. I went in, it was real gay with her. I was like, here's the people who are talking about me because I know who tries to slip in your office when they think I ain't looking. So let's have this out. She was like, ooh, I like you. And she said, we got an exclusive interview with Natalie Cole where she came off the almost 2-year world tour for Unforgettable. And so she said, because she didn't get to BET, she wants to do us first. Go home and write questions. And I was like, oh my God. And I went into her the next day. We sat and talked, and she's like, she saw some questions. She's like, oh, I didn't know Natalie Cole was the first Black person ever to win Best New Artist. Wow. I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. And then she said, I've decided who's doing the interview. And I was like, Natalie Cole and Donnie Simpson, brown-skinned people, light eyes. That's going to be beautiful television. I said that in my head, and she said, you. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, literally, oh, my God. I said, what? For what show? She said, I don't know. Create it.
Wow.
And that's how it began. I said, that's not how this happens. And she said, it's how it's going to happen for you.
Wow.
So 1993, I created a show called Lyrically Speaking.
Ow! I live for that show. That show.
And so literally, Natalie begat Luther. Luther begat Anita. Anita begat Lena Horne. Lena Horne begat Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle begat Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder begat Tina Turner in Denmark and then in Germany.
Tell us about that Tina, because that was a turning point for you, that Tina Turner interview.
So Tina Turner, we went to see her in, this is funny. So we went to see her in a town called Bremen, Bremen, Germany. Never heard of it. We're there on a Sunday, and we're downtown. Across the way is a mall, and we're tripping. I'm tripping. Because the streets are quiet, and I'm going, oh, I thought Tina Turner was really popular here. I thought Europe loved her. What is this town? Where are the people? So we go back to our hotel. A limo comes to get us to take us to the show. And everybody in Germany is in the football stadium. Like, well, damn. I mean, it was like a football stadium. And so it's freestyle. So all the people on the floor and up in here, it was magnanimous.
Wow.
And so they put us in this audio show where her audio guy is. And I'm there, my executive producer from BET, and Lynn Norman. I remember that because she was doing a profile for Ebony. And so they've got a little audio show. Tina does this ridiculous show. And then she has this point. She said, we're going to do something for you now that we rather do on stage. We're going to sit down and sing. And she does Undercover Agent for the Blues, I Can't Stand the Rain, and Help by the Beatles, stripped down, unplugged. We had a ridiculous time, and they actually took us back to meet her before the show, right? So there's that. And then the next day we flew to Copenhagen, and when she came in, she said, "Did you enjoy yourself last night?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I did." She said, "I know, I heard you." And I said, "No, ma'am, you did not. You did not hear me in a stadium full of 70,000 people." And she said, and I quote, but all of them were little black boys from the projects who said, "Sing the song, bitch." I said, "Miss Turner, I'm so sorry. I swear to God, I'm sorry." She said, "Oh, no, it reminded me of Nutbush." She loved it. She said, "I sang that song for you, didn't I?" I was like, "I swear to God, I'm so sorry." But it was so, there was that. And then the other poignant moment, you talk about poignant, so there was that just kind of shook us loose. But while we were interviewing, we were talking about how she recorded this single in Europe, in England, and how it ended up in America with no record deal. And she said there was a DJ in America who was quite influential who started playing it, and passing it around to the record pools. And And she said, and this is how it looks since we're visual. She said, and I can't remember his name right now. Like that. It's like almost this God help me moment. And in the same moment, I'm not kidding y'all, God said to me, give it to her. And as a journalist, I'm thinking, okay, just say the name out loud so we can move on. But the whisper was said, give it to her. And so I mouthed. And she said, Frankie Crockett. Yes. She said he was quite handsome. I said he still is. And so we went on with the interview. And then when we went to take a break to change, but back then it was digital. I mean, it wasn't digital. It was beta tape. We had to change tape.
Right.
So while we were changing tape, she said, I like you. You're different. You're not like everybody else. And I'm thinking,
wow,
what did that mean? And here's what's funny, just for every gay boy and lesbian girl, a non-binary person listening right now, as it relates to the audacity of being, something I got watching Racine Pendarvis walk the streets of Washington, D.C. When she said that to me, I almost didn't get it because I was so used to being outside that I just thought different was odd and peculiar. And my executive producer, Verna Dickinson, said to me, I said, Verna, why did she say that? She said, because every other journalist would have tried to take the moment and be heard on camera giving her the answer, and you gave it to her like a gift, and she appreciated it. And that's different because most people's ego would have made them say the name out loud. And when we broke camera, I walked outside in the middle of, right outside the Hotel Intercontinental in Copenhagen, Denmark. And for the first time in my life, I wailed about being me. I got it now. I was like, oh, that's why I'm hard to date. That's why, people listen to me speak and go, how do you just say that? Because I'm different. And it finally was a good thing because Tina Turner said so.
Amen.
So, and I don't want to dominate this. So post BET, on top of the video production that you've also done for yourself with your show with
Now what?
Now what? Right. But you also write. You're also an accomplished publisher. Writer, right? Right.
Somewhere, yeah.
So the books, can we show the image for the books? There's several books that you've written. There's one in particular, your biography was phenomenal.
You have it?
Yes, I've read it cover to cover.
You have to, because I'll show it. Yeah.
Never too much. There we go.
Alvaro did that cover.
Right.
Alvaro, isn't he amazing?
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Yes.
love Alvaro.
And folks, I will.
It's amazing.
If you haven't gotten this book, you have got to read this book because this tells Kevin's story, which is every one of our stories. Every one of our stories. Let's go back to Kevin, please.
I do want to say that Unclutter is one of my favorites. I know it was one of your first. Unclutter. Yes.
But can I
So tell us about your writing. How did you how did you start writing
So
profusely?
In '96, things got weird at BET. You ever have one of those moments where somebody is? Here's what happened. My boss, I think, started to see this light on me, and because BET wasn't necessarily in the business of knowing how to nurture people and watch them grow, like behind the scenes is behind, in front is talent. And so I think because this odd thing started to happen when celebs start to ask for you for specific interviews, for when I started to build my own video production company, because Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis's publicist said, so we want you to do a EPK for us on this group for their first label called Solo. And I was like, I don't know how to do one of those. And she said, did you do that piece on Gordon Chambers for Music Inside Out? We'd have paid you $10,000 to do that. And I was like, oh my God. So I was, on the phone with people, and I think things got wonky because I was not being called into meetings. And so I was like, all right, God,
wow,
what do I do? And I quit. And then the next day, Bev Smith, the legendary Bev Smith of Our Voices, said, I've heard you're one of the ones that letting go. We're going to the Holy Land, and I want you to come with me. And I was like, God, I needed a sign, but this is huge. We go to the Holy Land, and two of the African Hebrew Israelites literally pulled me to the Dead Sea. And I'm like, I can't swim. And the only way you get in the Dead Sea is by floating. They walked me in, helped me lean back. I pop up in the water, and they let me go. And I was like, this is crazy. And then what happened, is that it felt like the presence of God came right here. And I cried out, hallelujah. And, and the two guys were like, uh-oh, what's happening? And then I did it again. And then all the BET squad came. And then I screamed it out again, like till my throat got raw. And people up and down the dance were like, hallelujah. And God was like, right about that. And, that's where Unclutter came from, Yarde. It was, and here's what happened. That was 96, broken, left BET, didn't know what to do. So God goes, oh, so until I give you something to write about, you're not going to write. I went back to BET, created Video Link, went from, being fired to having the #1 show on the network, then moved to New York, then there's 106 in Park. God said, can you hear me now? Right now.
Wow.
I
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can I tell you, first, two things I want to say to you. Can I tell you the spirit that you would feel of love whenever the team was together at BET? Whenever I would come there, you, Angela Stribbing, Derek, so many people, whenever, Faluke, all those people, oh my God, so many people, I can't think of their names. But it would be like the buzz of all this creative love. It was such a family. Whenever you would go beyond the doors of BET into that room where everybody was. And every time I would go there, it would be like, oh my God, here's the tribe. And it was something about the connection with everybody that worked at BET, how everybody has still stayed connected. And it's like a family that was launched in BET. Something about that.
Absolutely.
And I just tell people how much I still today speak about lyrically speaking, because I've never ever experienced.
And it's available on YouTube.
Any other show like that. It was
I have yet to upload any of them.
It's on YouTube.
I would look up and somebody had the first one was Anita Baker. Then I saw the Tina Turner. I recently saw the Patti LaBelle, and I'm trying to think. I think I uploaded the Natalie to Facebook. I've never, so they're all over YouTube, and I didn't do them.
Yeah, it's amazing. And to you, but let me say this to you. Whenever I see you, or every time you speak, or every time you enter a room, you bring the spirit of your mother with you always. And I always feel how connected you are with your mom, and how she was such an intricate part of your life. You are like, we all have that mommy's boy kind of thing, that our mothers are so endearing and so loving to us.
I'm a mama's boy too.
And it's something about that. And I say, every time I see you, it's like she's standing behind you.
Right. And what's so funny, Racy, is my relationship with my mother was extraordinarily complicated growing up because for some reason, to her, I favored uncomfortably my father. So when my mother loved me, she adored me. When she disliked me, she despised me, And so we had, I could tell y'all some stuff that came in conversation with me and Louis Taylor that people would not believe. And then somewhere it transitioned. And not just us, not just spiritually, but I literally think I look more like my mother than any of my other siblings, and she swore I look like my father. So it's a very funny thing. So,
I want to say this. There's a couple of things I wanted to say. For those of you all who have not heard Kevin Taylor speak, do yourself a favor. You can. I'll
be at Interlight on March 22nd.
Right. Yes, and we're working on something. With you too. So yes,
I'll be coming in early for Swerv.
Yes.
First of all, before I even knew about all of BET, I met Kevin Taylor as one of the associate pastors at Interlight Unity Fellowship Church, who's just sitting in the pulpit, and I was like, I don't know who he is. And remember, we had this conversation, Kevin, where I remember looking at Kevin. I don't know if you ever had an experience where you looked at somebody and you was like, that is an older version of myself.
Okay.
And I aspired. I was like, for that kind of boldness, I wanted, and I lived for it. And I will never forget the Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego sermon. And that sermon was the moment I was like, I want to be like you.
So tell us about his spiritual journey.
And so I wanted to say this. So what you said about what Racine was to you, I want to let you know that you are that for me. You inspire me. There are things. And I am so grateful. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment. I am so grateful to be able to pick up the phone and call you and have real life conversations. And what you said about your relationship with your mother, I remember one time I came and did your hair at your house here in DC, and I was going through some things with my mother, and you said it's gonna be all right. And then you marched over, you dropped me off, and you was like, no, I'm going in the house to meet your mama. And I said, oh gosh, she's gonna lose it. And he came in all his regalia, his glory, and was unapologetically himself. And my mother fell in love with him so much that Kevin will be officiating my mother's wedding.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Wow. So, tell us about your spiritual journey. How did you get to
So,
this point?
Because
You're reverend.
Yes.
Are you pastor?
I'm pastor, senior
reverend?
pastor.
Super. Okay.
Next year is 25 years in ministry, 20 years as pastor. And it's the same way. It's like, so somewhere around 10 years old, my mom went through her own transformation and stopped being a daughter of the El Cello and stopped partying and went to Carroll Baptist Church, 1354 First Street, Southwest DC. And at first she went and she let us stay home and watch Tarzan, which used to come on Sunday mornings. And then I think we had some sort of, because my brothers and I were stair steps. Gary's 2 years older, David's 2 years younger, Douglas was a year and a half younger than him. And so she would let us stay home the stair steps as long as we took care of each other in the house. And we had some sort of fight or something, and she made us go to church. The Easter Sunday she made us go to church, I walked in and the pastor's wife was in this lemon chiffon suit with this kind of rainbow colored scarf and this fabulous First Lady hat. And she's saying there's a deep centerpiece in the Lord. And I was like, who is she? What is this? Who is this God? And would go to church in this kind of like mystified kind of space, you know? And was, you know, and it's funny because spiritually God, I always said to people, God was like, you know, my bodyguard, kind of right here. And I was like, God, I don't know the answer. It's C. Okay, you know what I mean? It was really weird. It was like that. It was like this external, you know, presence that seemed to be like, it's going to be okay for years. And then, and I have a whole bunch of experiences in that spiritually. But then Reverend Waldo, my pastor, then died. And the dude that came in was a bastard. And that's all I will say. And at 15, I believe it was, I said to my mother, I don't like this preacher. I don't want to go back to church. And Mama didn't seem to see the shift. And she said, come this Sunday. And if you don't like it, you don't have to go back. And that was the Sunday he decided not to just go for broke, but he went berserk with his anti-gay sermon in 1979. The Lord don't like the homosexual. And we literally had this blind pastor who played piano like Ray Charles and sang and preached all about God's unconditional, almighty love. Right? That's all we had. And then this fool comes in with hate, period. But then he did that, you know, the God hate the home. And Mama literally going to say, bye, baby, bye. You know, in the Black Baptist Church, you're supposed to get up and go left and walk down the side aisle. I went right and went back down the middle of the aisle. Down the middle aisle. Like, say something.
I did.
Say something. Say something. But spiritually what happened is the God, you know, the rug got pulled from under me because I thought me and God were cool. I had never heard any about gay and hate and da-da-da. And so I literally had this moment outside on the balcony of my first floor project. I was like, hey, God, I thought we were cool. Every time I called you answered. Every time I needed something. When I was in the hospital, I didn't die, even though I'd been in there in the oxygen tank for 3.5 months. You came and rescued me. I don't know. So I was like, if who this man is saying I am is wrong, take it. I haven't done anything. Just take it. I knew I liked boys, but at 15, I hadn't done anything. So I was like, just take it. But I need some sort of sign from you that you and I are okay. That's literally what I cried on. Cried, snotting, right at 201 M Street Southwest in the project. And this is how it played out. That was Sunday night. Monday morning in the lunchroom at Jefferson Junior High School. A boy that I had been liking since 7th grade came up to me and said, I don't know what it was, but something told me last night to tell you that I liked you. That's all it took. You couldn't tell me anything from that moment to this one. What, who, where, when, how God is. Because that was like, I asked for a sign.
He said sign. It is.
I am that I am. Boom.
Oh, so yeah, we don't want to run out of time, Kevin. So tell us, what are you working on now? What are you doing now? Because you're speaking, you're writing, producing still.
So you talk about transitions. Monday through Friday, I'm the director of administration for the Servants House, a women's and children's shelter here in Irvington. On Saturday, I am the spiritual director for the Essex LGBT Rain House, which is a shelter for young adults and some who have come as far as Texas to be in this house.
Oh my goodness!
And on Sunday, you know, we preach a word or two, you know, and so there's that. I'm working on a new book now called Self-ish. Yeah. Get full of yourself without guilt.
All right.
I love there's a conversation to be had with Tony, with Racine, with Jamel, with Yarday, with our community with the strong ones, the strong friend who takes up every weight, who takes up every gauntlet, and then the second we need a break, nobody can hear us, and we can't even hear ourselves because self-care feels selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is that anytime somebody tells you that you're being selfish, it's because the part you're trying to give of yourself to you, they want. So I'm dealing with the fact that selfish is some self-ish.
It's funny that you would say that. One of my favorite quotes from Iyanla Vanzant was when she said, my cup runneth over. She said, baby, what's in the cup is for me. What runneth over, that's for you. But I can't give you nothing until my cup is full. Ha! And so it's been, and it's so so that's why you saying this is such a confirmation, and especially for the last couple of days of this week.
And so many of us, who are the doers, have people come at us trying to scoop out of our cups, or they ask us for extra, like we have an additional arm or another part of a brain to use. There is no extra. You can have my surplus if it's available to you, but that means I've got to be at 100. I've got to be full. I have got to be clear that everything on my priority list needs me to be well in order for it to succeed.
Amen. That's why I stopped answering my phone.
That means to let go. That means to be clear about who we are and what we mean to people. Because, people will drag you to hell and back trying to get all of you and never say thank you. They just assume that Racine is the legend. You got it to pour into people, and I shouldn't have to pay you for it. They just assume that you do makeup. You should be willing to do makeup for they just assume that you'll continue to pour out pieces of you and without having to do the work to take care of you. I preached my mother's funeral at Carroll Baptist Church in a room full of people who were looking like, how are you doing this? I was like, her pastor's dying from cancer. Her son's a preacher. My brothers are like, well, you're doing it, right? And I'm sitting there thinking, it's a room full of people who get to have a grief that I can't display publicly. Right, there's got to be a place, a point that we give ourselves permission to breathe and stop. For real.
And give it what you got.
So we got just 3 minutes. Okay. I want to know what you're going to write for Swerv again, because Kevin has written so much stuff for us.
God,
he's been co-editor for our music issue, for our religious issue.
Right. I was the editor for that one.
I love the interview you did with Bishop Flunder. That's one of my all-time favorites.
She shifted my soul. I'm gonna tell you that.
And we have to give him grace, because that whole issue was his concept.
Oh right. It was your idea. Right.
Remember, Kevin, when I was coming back from New York, and you called me and you was like, "Yarday, you all need to do this."
But I've never seen her story elevated to that level anywhere. No one else has told that story of her at that level, and I'm just so happy we were able to do it.
One of the things that a publication like Swerv allows us to do is to have full conversations, because so many times the LGBT story, when told by other folk, spends so much time on struggle, so much time on coming out, so much time this way, that it doesn't presume the bigness of a Billy Porter. It doesn't presume a calling and an anointing on a Bishop Yvette Flunder. It doesn't deal with the iconography of that ridiculous cover y'all did, on the ball community. We start at the story and go forward, where everybody spends so much time in the backwards of it all. And that's why I will always be a part of this Swerv family. I will write when you tell me to write, because you my publisher.
And we got more for you to do. So where can people find out about Kevin Taylor?
For the most part, if you look up Kevin E. Taylor anywhere, it's my Instagram. Kevin E. Taylor is my Facebook. I think there's a TM3 tag to my Twitter, because somebody else had Kevin E. Taylor. But I'm Kevin E. Taylor because I got called to the principal's office at Jefferson Junior High School in Washington, D.C. And when they called Kevin Taylor to the office, 3 people showed up. And I've been Kevin E. Taylor since 8th grade.
So you do.
And then I have a website, kevinetaylor.com.
And do you still do the daily? Because I was getting your daily sentiments. You were doing that daily. Are you still doing that on Facebook?
I was doing Wisdom Wednesday.
So
we're working on how to bring that back. Here's the thing, and one of the things that, watching you guys do this, it's about, with all these algorithms and Facebook shifting some things. I'm trying to find a way to make the best use of the work, So Friday and Wednesday used to be Wisdom Wednesday. And now it's become Bible study. I do Bible study on Facebook every Wednesday from 7 to 8:30.
Right.
We have had people on from Istanbul. We've had people on from Liverpool, England. We've had people on from India. We've had people on from Pakistan. And one of the most beautiful things was this man who signed on from like Miscole, Iowa. And he was like, "This was the best thing I've ever done in my life." And so I just feel like we started Bible study the first Wednesday in November of 2016, and it took us a year to get through Genesis.
Wow!
And it just is a raw, real conversation, and it's a blessing to my soul to see people, especially queer people, especially Black people, because Black people so submitted and surrendered in religion that to ask them to see stuff a new way can be a big deal, but to have like somebody say, "I'm here, my mama here, my grandmama here, my two nieces," and we watch it, and have them receive something, it's just
amazing.
It's good. It's good meat to my sandwich.
Well, Kevin, we've run out of time. I want to thank you so much for spending this hour with us, my friend. You know, It was a pleasure. I can't wait to see you again. We got to bring you down and do something live.
Yes,
we're gonna work on that. All right.
We'll work on that.
All right.
Bye, Tony. Send me those glasses and that shirt, please, Tony.
So y'all go check out Kevin Taylor, and I want to thank my guest,
Kevin E. Taylor.
Kevin E. Taylor, and you got to read the book. That one book you got to read. Never Too Much.
All of them.
You got to read all of them, but this tells you who Kevin is.
Yes,
it does. Anyway, thank y'all, and we'll see you. Thank you for joining the Swerve Show. We'll see you next week. Deuces.
Bye bye.
All right.
Listen Vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Listen Vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Listen Vision. DC's #1 recording studio.